It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag college football.
The poll is out, PK, the college football rankings. And look at BYU. Holding steady at number 11. Utah down one spot at 13. But Oregon moves up to number 6 over Ole Miss.
You know, I want to swear. I do. BYU is getting hosed, man. I just don't understand it. And to have, what's the guy's name? The ESPN dude who does all that stuff. I can't think of, I don't know. Reese Davis, there you go. And saying that BYU would be a bid stealer if they go 12-1, a bid stealer. My goodness gracious, they ought to get a top 4 seed. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and I said my head would explode if they went 12-1 and didn't get a home bye, or at least maybe even first round bye, but certainly a home game in the first round. And now Reese Davis, one of the premier guys that's on this, he's not on the committee, but recognizes as basically a spokesman for college football, saying they'd be a bid stealer, and then the president or the chairman there trying to make a 6-7 joke. No one's laughing here, buddy. What are you thinking?
He's thinking the Big 12 is going to get the shaft, which is what I have thought for weeks, for months, and it looks like it's going to fall on BYU.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that Texas Tech is going to get the shaft. It would be BYU. And then it seems like, we'll throw them a bone on 2 meaningless positions with Arizona getting in at 25. And what did the Devils do to move up 5 spots? They beat Colorado, and all of a sudden they move up 5 spots. And you're just throwing all this type of respect on them when it doesn't even matter, because obviously they got no chance unless they went on some incredible run here.
It doesn't matter. And they did get some help because the only losses in the top 25 were 4 teams that were down low, and so they dropped those teams out. But you're right, it's totally throwing them a bone. They want 1 Big 12 team in. They don't want 2 Big 12 teams in. They got to let 1 in, so they put 1 in. It's an SEC world and a Big Ten world.
Why would this committee have that bias? Why? It's not like they're all full from there. Everyone is not connected to that. I can get the TV networks because the numbers in terms of viewerships bear that out. But these men and women on this committee, most of them don't have an allegiance to the Big Ten or the SEC. So that doesn't make any sense to me.
I cannot fully explain their motivation, but I read one of the stories, and it was a national story. It didn't come from anybody associated with the state of Utah or with the school. And it was a blind analysis of 2 teams. You know, they do the team A, team B, and best wins, worst losses, what's your record versus bowl teams, what's your record versus ranked teams. And the 2 teams, there was basically no difference between them. And the differences were minuscule. And it was Oregon and BYU. And a Big Ten team is in and a Big 12 team is out. I can't tell you everybody's
why.
I can't tell you everybody's motivation. But PK, you know I thought this was going to happen when the season started. I just couldn't tell you which team it was going to happen to, but it was going to happen to the Big 12. And now it looks like it's going to happen to BYU.
I understand all that, but there's
You still want to know why, and I want to know why too. And you know, maybe we can get Mark Harlan on the air. Maybe we can't. Sometimes we can get him on the air. Sometimes we can't. We could ask him when it's all over. I don't know what he'll say. It'd be interesting because he gets to be in the room. For most of it,
I won't ask him because if it happens and if BYU doesn't get in, I quit.
Yeah, I mean, which people say what in the room that carries the day? Yeah, I don't know. But
I hate that room. I mean, the committee room. I want to talk about the quarterback room, the tight end room, not the committee room.
Well, we're waiting to see if a team that can get in the playoff is going to lose its coach to another school. And the answer is yes. Now, if Lane Kiffin does it, the answer might be yes twice. But North Texas, in the hunt for a G5 bid, the coach, Eric Morris, is going to Oklahoma State as the new head coach. The 40-year-old discovered and developed quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Cam Ward, John Mateer. So he's got them on his resume. Now he has the Oklahoma State job.
Good for him. Jim Moore going to Colorado State. I saw that this morning.
Yes. Yeah, that broke last night. Back-to-back 9-win seasons. And so Colorado State hasn't won 9 games in a year since 2007. So he is off to, well, by the time they play their first game under him, they'll be a Pac-12 school because CSU's making the move with Utah State and a few other schools and joining Oregon State and Washington State. USC coach Lincoln Riley told reporters he is 100% staying with the Trojans. He's happy in L.A. So all the Lincoln Riley rumors can slow down for another year.
Was he going to go into selling insurance? I mean, what was he going to do?
Take one of the many jobs that is open because it's not going great at USC, I guess was the theory.
So
call Larry the Laker. He's the guy with all the deep insight. Larry the Laker in here. What job was he going to be linked to?
Linked. I get it.
Yak. Colorado's going to sit freshman quarterback Julian Lewis this weekend, preserve his red shirt. You got that 4-game rule out there. Caden Salter will get the start for Colorado.
You know, it's funny because obviously the Sam Levitt rumors have been flying high, and ASU's been prepared for that. I mean, they knew it was a possibility, if nothing else, that he would go to the NFL. And after the game Saturday night, Kenny Dillingham gave him a big hug, and you could see he's talking into his ear, right? And then the caption was, "Oh, man, we'll see you in January."
DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow says he has no plans to sit out if he's cleared and able to play, despite the fact the team is 3-8. He's missed the last 9 games with a grade 3 turf toe injury. So he doesn't care about.
That makes sense.
He doesn't care about staying healthy, draft position. They're paying him to play. He's gonna go play.
Well, I mean, he's a football player.
Yep.
He already missed a season a couple years back, didn't he?
Did.
He wants to play football.
He had an ACL and was out a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
The Bills added some depth to the receiver corps with the signing of free agent Brandon Cooks, who was released by the Saints. Dalton Kincaid leads Buffalo in touchdown receptions. Former Ute, the tight end. They want more production outside, so Brandon Cooks it is.
Cook's been a guy in the NFL for a long time now.
That he has. Trevor Moring has been suspended 1 game without pay. Panther safety with the low blow on Juwan Jennings Monday night. Plans to appeal the 1-game suspension.
Man, spitting has been in the news ever since that gal in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
There has been a lot of, probably half dozen, I would say, spitting incidents. There's been a bunch of them.
Yeah. Honking loogies now. It's like everywhere you turn.
Yeah. But this is, would you rather be spit on or punched slightly below the belt?
Oh,
I mean, seeing none of the above.
What fatal cancer do I want?
I know, right? Seeing none of the above.
I want neither. Jeez.
Semi-finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame include Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Larry Fitzgerald, Jason Witten, and Frank Gore. They are all first-year eligible inductees. Other semi-finalists include Willie Anderson, Torrey Holt, Adam Vinatieri, Eli Manning, Steve Smith Sr., the former Ute, Reggie Wayne. On and on the list goes. Darren Woodson, who've all been previously eligible.
I want to ask you something.
Anybody in there you really feel strongly about? This person must be in. I got one name.
I mean, you named about 5 or 6. And my question for you, because I don't really follow this the way I would do baseball, we hear that baseball sometimes, you got to pay your dues, so you're not going to get in on the first time. I mean, we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, which I think we should. But is that the same thing with the pro football? I don't follow it as much. You're more into it than I am. Do they make them wait,
I don't
even
think
though
so.
It's clear they belong in?
No, I think the people who clearly belong in usually get in on the first time. And to me, of the first time people who clearly belong in, I would put at the top of the list Larry Fitzgerald. To me, that's
a no-brainer.
That's a guy who's like, don't mess around. Just put him in on the first ballot. This is
I would think Witten would get in.
Right.
Eli Manning would get in. I mean, Drew Brees. Did you name Drew Brees?
So Drew Brees is eligible for the first time. Eli Manning has been eligible for and not gotten in. And
I certainly Drew Brees should be in. That's an absolute guarantee lock.
Yeah. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Lakers beat the Clippers 135-118. Luka Doncic, 43 points and 13 assists. The former Jazz man Chris Dunn was ejected in that game. Luka went off 24 points in the first quarter, PK. He made a statement.
I watched the first quarter, right? I was watching college hoop, flicking around, and that game was on. The other game was a slaughter, so I didn't watch that. But the later game with the Lakers and the Clippers, obviously I have an interest in the West Coast. And I just keep thinking, coming back to, I just want to swear, not in a good way, a bad way, that the Lakers got Doncic. This guy, I don't even think he's reached his peak yet, right? If you go by age, you could argue he hasn't.
100%.
So you basically just gifted the Lakers a true bona fide superstar, which are so difficult to get, and they were able to get one for Anthony Davis and somebody else maybe? I don't even remember who. My
For
goodness.
a cow and 3 magic beans, it was a gift. And that's why the GM has been fired, and the rest of us just get to gnash our teeth because now the Lakers are at minimum relevant, and depending on who they put around him, they could pile up some more championships. I mean, they haven't done it in about a decade, but the way they were going, they were basically going to the NBA Finals every other year for the first 60 years of their existence. Now, they've fallen off that pace. But
you had to.
I know. You think, right? But this, I mean, who's to say?
I think they're a contender this year. I wouldn't pick them to win it. I'd still go OKC, obviously. And I like what Denver's doing, and then we'll see about Houston as they develop some more chemistry and all that stuff. But I think they're a contender. And it's just, wait a second. There was years ago, they overruled a Chris Paul trade. And nothing against Chris Paul, because he's a Hall of Famer himself, obviously in his 21st year, announced over the weekend that he was going to retire, obviously, as he's gotten older. But Doncic is way better than Chris Paul.
Right. But the problem was when the Chris Paul trade happened, the league owned New Orleans.
Great. Now the Lakers are going to own the league.
I know. But the league didn't own Dallas, so they weren't going to reject the trade. The blowout you refer to is Orlando going to Philadelphia and hammering the Sixers 144-103. 144, that is a serious number right there. 51 points second quarter. Good grief. Not a lick of defense being played there in Philly by Philly.
And for Philly. Nothing but Philly.
Oh, yeah. That is just a beating. 51 points in a quarter. The legendary Anthony Black came off the bench and scored 31 points.
Yeah, he was the guy the Jazz were considering a couple years back.
21-year-old out of Arkansas. There you go.
Yeah, right.
Well, he's on his way. Good game. And Orlando adds another piece, and eventually all those high draft picks have to pay off for Orlando, right? I mean, I know they got to be healthy.
I think when they're healthy, they're good.
Yeah. The Wizards got win number 2 down there at the bottom of the league. They beat Atlanta 132-113.
I looked at that box score. Yeah, 10 of 13 from 3. They shot 50% from 3, and I'm wondering if there's a stat out there in today's game when it's not like 4 for 8. If you shoot 50% from 3, what are your chances of winning the game? Because, as I say, back then, 15, 20 years ago, they maybe took 10 threes tops, which not necessarily is a game decider. But now with the number of threes approaching 40, if you shoot 50%, I wonder what your percentage of chances of winning. It's got to be really high.
You would think, right? That is just such an advantage. There's so many points.
Right.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hashtag college basketball.
The Utes lose to Grand Canyon 68-58 in Palm Springs. Utes dropped to 5-2 on the season as they've now lost to a Big West and a Mountain West team, PK. I think we knew the Big 12 was going to be hard for the Utes. Now we're pretty sure of it, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. I don't think this result changed much. Maybe it just added some more evidence. But, obviously Alex is going to need time. He's going to need money. He needs to start banging the drum for the fan support in the way that Dillingham did when he got the ASU job. And those three, I think you need those 3 things, obviously. You need talent, you need money, and you need the support. Kids want to play in front of people who come out to cheer them. Obviously, I mean, it is not breaking news here, and that's going to take a bit.
UVU blows out South Dakota State 75-52 in Cancun. Portland State over Utah Tech 68-63. UVU's back.
Throw one of the.
Go ahead.
That Cal beat the UC Los Angeles Bruins.
Did.
And, that's Mark Madsen, and we all like him, known him for a long time. And there's nothing better than a press conference with Mick Cronin as the losing coach.
He gets pretty feisty, cranky.
Yeah.
Cal, that wasn't a fluke. I dropped in on that game for a while, and Cal had an 8 or 10-point lead, and I went off and watched something else like you. I flicked over to the Laker-Clipper game, and I went back to it, and Cal was still up by 8. It was like Cal was right there. Control of the game.
Yeah.
UVU takes on Stanford 4 o'clock today. Utah will play Ole Miss at 10 o'clock tonight. BYU's back in action tomorrow. They play Miami 3 o'clock. That game's on ESPN from Orlando, Florida. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
The hot stove. Need a little baseball news here as the temperatures plunge and the holidays approach.
Yes.
St. Louis Cardinals trading veteran right-handed pitcher Sonny Gray to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for 2 pitching prospects. And St. Louis sends Boston $20 million to cover the salary. Gray had a no-trade clause, but waived it to facilitate the move after going 14-8 last season.
Yeah, the Cardinals look like they're in a rebuild, and Sox, they can contend for the World Series, but you never know. They can contend for a playoff spot.
Pirates ace Paul Skeens gets a record $3.4 million from the pre-arbitration bonus pool, raising his 2-year pay total to $5.58 million. He was slated to make $875 this season after making a little more than $500,000 last year.
Yeah, and in a related news, that's why you had the Steinbrenner son saying that the Yankees want to reduce payroll so they can afford to pay him when he becomes available.
And there it is. Connect the dots. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
The Utah Mammoth are back in action tonight. They host the Montreal Canadiens. Let it roll off the tongue, PK. One of the original 6, a legendary franchise. Currently sitting in 5th place over in the Atlantic Division in the East. Utah sitting in 4th place in the West. They're off to very similar starts. Should be a good game tonight.
Yeah, when Gordon told me don't let him break down the Atlantic Division, I had never had any idea that it would actually be the NHL.
You've used that joke before. You're recycling your humor here.
That's just amazing to me.
And I didn't break it down.
I know you didn't. But it is amazing to me that the point I'm making, and it's not that, the point I'm making is the Montreal Canadiens
are coming to Utah.
Are playing the Salt Lake City NHL team. That's the amazing part. That's where I'm going with that.
That is completely amazing. Nothing says welcome to the big time. And you are in the big time, and you have arrived as the Montreal Canadiens.
Right. So when, and I think it's when, not if, I think you do too, when the MLB comes here, well, it'll be like, wow, this is incredible. But it's to the point, or the community and the Millers at the Byam and all, they earn the right to get that. The hockey, it's like Kyle Whittingham said last week, here today, gone tomorrow. Well, it wasn't here today, but it is here tomorrow. I mean, that thing happened so quick, right? Whereas the baseball, they broke dirt, 2 years ago? And we're still several years away. So it's like the anticipation will build. Hockey just, in a sense, snuck up upon us, and here we are.
Yeah, hockey is more surprise.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the baseball you can see coming over the horizon.
Yeah, for a long time.
Come
on, son, come on up.
Yep. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Riley Jensen's going to be here to talk football at 8 o'clock. Barry Trammell, sports columnist, Tulsa World, here at 9 o'clock. It's also a Win Tickets Wednesday. We got tickets to give away to Nate Bargatze's Big Dumb Eyes World Tour at the Delta Center, and we will give those tickets away coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.